Hey legends, and welcome back to the least knowledgeable sim racing channel. You may have noticed over the last few weeks that video releases have become fewer and farther between on this channel. This video will explore why that is and what it bodes for the future of this channel. First, I want to take a moment to say that videos like this are usually only watched by a small number of the closest community members, so if you're here now, know that I'm supremely appreciative of your support over the months. Building a channel from 0 to 30,000 subscribers in a niche industry within a year is a gargantuan task, and I couldn't have done it without all of you continuously watching and engaging with the videos, whether positive or negative. I began this channel as a way to stay sane during the first wave of lockdowns in early 2020. Fitness was a huge part of my life up until then, and hearing that gyms would be off limits for months made me realize that I'd need another hobby to sink into, which would not only distract me from the situation at large, but also allow me to dig in for hours and really exhaust myself. As a businessman, I was also professionally curious as to whether I could use the lockdown-fueled sim racing boom to springboard a channel into the public eye far more quickly than normal. The following 8 months provided the answer. Using the development process of Automobilista 2, as well as some of the in and out drama fueling sim and real racing during that year, I managed to rapidly grow a channel which had regular viewership. The thing is, this rapid growth came at a cost. Those of you who know me from outside of sim racing know that it's one venture out of many. In order to build the channel, it required a workload of around 3 videos per week to really keep the growth levels up. During a lockdown, this is fairly easy as we don't have much else to do. My other businesses were largely running autonomously, and the ones which weren't, well, I simply just took a back seat on to focus on the channel instead. The issue came late last year, where one of those businesses experienced a level of unprecedented growth. The kind of growth which needs to be very closely curated and scaled with in order to not be the death knell of a company. As many positives come with these periods, the same amount of negatives shortly follow. TLDR, what resulted was me working on average 12 to 16 hour days over the last 2 months with virtually no days off. Basic arithmetic dictates that full-time role times 4 doesn't equal up to a very balanced life. As a result, I find myself at a very strange impasse coming into 2021. I can no longer operate the channel like I once did, simply because I don't have the same amount of free time I did. At the same time, I still love sim racing and I always want to leave room for it in my life. Recently, I tried to spice things up with more actual competitive racing, which has had mixed results. On one hand, I've really enjoyed streaming and joking around with you guys in real time, but on the other hand, I've not really enjoyed the amount of commitment and preparation those events require to go off well. A recent invitational event in my favourite sim really burnt me out. Staying up until 4 AM to begin a race was taxing enough, but to have the experience marred by a lack of planning on our part, miscommunication, and ultimately being punted by backmarkers just added an extra sting. It took me about 2 weeks to recover my circadian rhythm after this event, during which it cost absurd amounts in productivity. More recently, I tried to do the same thing in another invitational race, which I was super happy and eager to attend. I decided to capture the footage offline rather than streaming in order to reduce the stress on myself and the risk of technical failure. After waking up at 3 AM to make the race, cramming in some light practice the night before because I didn't have a chance to sim race for weeks leading up to the event, the net result was me being punted around by a very spicy midfield which seemingly had a lot to prove in lap 1. Being stuck with a super high latency during these events makes close racing almost impossible, and it makes the experience all that much less gratifying when the people around you don't really account for that. The net effect of these experiences is that I started to perceive sim racing more as a chore rather than an outlet, and I never wanted to feel that way. This channel was built on content I was truly passionate about, and the more I found myself pushing into competitive play, the more I found myself taking on yet another full-time work role, and I already have more than enough of those. The goal for 2021 is to do more with less. There will be less videos, but I'll aim to make them more potent, helpful, and hopefully also appeal to wider audiences. I'm going to try streaming again on a semi-regular basis, but it'll be mostly casual, fun races where I can actually keep the presence of mind to chat and joke around with you guys, rather than trying to min-max my tire pressures to 0.1 of a PSI. Going in tandem with this, I want to push and build our community on simracing.gp, which is a platform I've come to adore over the last several weeks. I love how easy it makes the process of setting up races all around the world, and I want to get involved in more of that. I've already told our community managers that I want weekly Nordschleife track days that people can just join and blast around in like any real-life Touristenfahrten experience. The platform is expanding and will soon hold races and race room racing experience, as well as Project Cars 2 and Automobilista 2, while already handling AC and ACC. I've left a link in the description below for those who want to participate in the community. Beyond that, I want to get back to the feature videos which made this channel popular. Our Beam and G content has done way better than I ever expected, and that's made me realize that the community there is uniquely positioned to appreciate a channel like this. Because Beam is a sandbox, the possibilities are endless, and by nature it's just way more fun and casual, which is really what I want this channel to be. Just a place to celebrate sim racing and its potential. The next little videos are already in the works, everything from fun races to hardware features. I've even teamed up with another sim racing outlet to provide a long overdue single player tutorial for one of our favourite simulators. And if all goes well, hopefully I'll also be able to stream our debut community Nordschleife track day this weekend as a stress test of my new sim racing PC and a sign of more things to come. If you've made it this far, thanks for bearing with me and the channel for the last year. While the only constant is change, I hope that the revised direction of this channel in 2021 still holds the same appeal it once did, even if I take a moment to not talk about rFactor's tire model every 2 sentences. If you want to join us in the future, make sure that you're subscribed and belled up. If you didn't like the video, that's absolutely fine, just hit that dislike button twice and show me who's boss. Until next time, I'll see you all later.